You belong on every ground your feet grace, so don't ever feel out of place. Take up space and belong. This earth is your birthplace. So for the second Christmas movie in my 7 days of Christmas movie review series is 12 Baes for Christmas, and this is on Tubi. So it starts off with Simone and I think his name is Khalil. No, Simone and her boyfriend doing a podcast and interviewing this guy. I think the guy they were interviewing was named Khalil. Or no, her friend is Khalil. One of the two. It starts off with Simone and her boyfriend doing a podcast and interviewing this guy, and they're talking about like love, black love, or whatever. They ask him about like, his relationship status, and he was saying that he wasn't in a relationship, but when he's not really thinking about love right now, but when he does, it will be with a black woman. So I'm getting from this that their brand is black love. And also, they give me Hotep vibes, calling each other king and queen. They give me Hotep vibes and Hotepist vibes or whatever. And they wrap up the podcast or whatever after they do the interview with the guy, and then the manager tells them that, and then Khalil, and then her, not Khalil, then Simone's boyfriend leaves and tells her that he had to go and do something. And after that, the manager comes in and she tells them about an opportunity to do a show or whatever. But she kind of had to prove herself. They were going, the people who wanted to do that was interested in doing the show with them were watching their social media. So like, be careful what you post and stuff like that. So her and her friend, I think the friend's name is Khalil, is a guy. The two of them must have been doing this for a while, and they're finally like getting good news. So now they're celebrating it or whatever. They're happy that their hard work has been paying off and stuff like that. And then that ends that first scene. While Simone is like sitting in her apartment chilling, her phone starts blowing up, and she looks at the phone, and there is a video of her of okay, first of all, her boyfriend's name is Khalil. It was King Khalil, and her friend's name is Jabari. So I had got, you know, I was right the first time. His name was Khalil. So she sees a video of Khalil laying on this chair, knocked out, like with his hand, like not on his crotch, but like beside it. You can see his penis print or whatever. And the girl is like in the background with the phone up, like, Simone Starr, this your man, this your man. You know how people be when they try to like embarrass people on social media. So basically, a viral video of him cheating on her with another girl hits the internet, and like the internet is going crazy. Everybody is talking about it or whatever because their podcast, kind of like the Derek Jackson thing, like the podcast was supposed to be the name of it was Love and Liberation, and it was supposed to be about black love and like stuff like that. And so people feel like since he was cheating that the podcast was fake. um the cheating is embarrassing enough, but to accuse somebody of having a fake relationship is more embarrassing. But um she is like sulking for a while, like ignoring phone calls, ignoring like her phone period, ignoring phone calls, ignoring social media, just in the house, depressed, laying down, not really knowing what to do with herself. So her best friends break into her house to check on her or whatever. And they tell her, like, you had your time to grieve. Now it's time for you to get up. Um, well, first before they break into her house, she gets on live crying and like talk and ranting about the situation. She says that he cheated on her, and um before she able to get deep into her rant, that's when the best friends break into the house. Um and they're like trying to give her a pep talk, and they're like, you've been in this house moping around for I think a week or two. It's time for you to get out of this funk or whatever. Um, and they suggest that the best way to get over somebody is to get under somebody, which is terrible advice. But that's the advice they gave her. And she's like, Khalil was my first. I haven't been with anybody since him. And honestly, with this situation, like her giving all of her 20s to him, I could 100% relate to how she felt or whatever. But with me, I never jumped back into the dating pool. I just kind of chill. I haven't been in a relationship in so long. I haven't dated, like I haven't had sex, none of those things since I broke up with my ex. But they tell her that she needs a whole face. Her male friend tells her that, and then her female friend played, I forgot what her name was. Played by Big Boss Vet, was telling her ain't no such thing as a whole face, because why do women gotta be a hoe for doing something that men do without ridicule or whatever. Um, so they saw her up on this dating app, and she decides that she's going to date a bunch of men. Everybody who she matches with, she's going on a date with him. So she starts going on a date. The first guy she goes on a date with is African guy. And their date went well, except for the fact that the kiss was at the end of it was kind of awkward, but that was because she never been with nobody else, so she was like the one making it awkward. But he was very understanding about it or whatever. Didn't give her any crap for it. Um, her guy friend, her guy friend Jabari, like when they're in the studio where they record the podcast or whatever. He tells her that a whole phase is not in her character. Like that's not something that you would do. And I was happy that he said that, because I just feel like that's me. Like whole phase is not in my character. It's not something that I would do. So if that's something that I just like, even dating is hard. I think I can only date one person at a time. Like date a person, see how it is. If I don't like them, stop talking to them, move on to the next person. I feel like that's how I would have to do. I couldn't date a few people at the same time. It would be too much for me, or whatever. But to each their own. He tells her that it's out of character, and she basically tells him like, this is something. She basically said it's not out of character for her, and she just needs to get outside, and she needs to date so she can stop worrying about Khalil. So after that conversation, they start the podcast, and she goes on the podcast and says like negative things about love. Love is a myth, and F love, and love, breaks hearts and stuff like that. And I hate whenever people get their heart broken, they get mad at love. Love ain't did nothing to you. That was that person that did that to you. That person broke your heart. Love didn't break your heart. That person did. And love is an action. Like, you cannot blame it for the way that you feel because somebody broke your heart, somebody did something to you. That's not love's fault. It's their fault. Because love is not any of those negative things that she was saying about it. I hate when people do that too. I hate when people say that, like, love is love is a myth and ain't no such thing as love. It ain't no real love out there. Just because they got their heart broken one time. Like, you a little soft. And I don't even want to say soft because I hate that. But like, people who can like denounce love, or people who can just like, oh, I don't want love, F love, I don't want love, whatever. Those type of people, I don't have anything for. I don't got anything for nobody who's scared of love. Like, that's one of the most basic things that is allowed to us as human beings. One of the things that we get to partake in, we get to get joy out of, we get to connect with people and stuff like that. And then one time y'all get y'all heart broken and now it's F love. But okay. Anyways, um her sponsors are not happy about the podcast. So Jabari cuts it off and she gets mad at him for cutting it off, and he like, the sponsors are not happy. Your podcast literally is called Love and Liberation, and you sitting here talking about some love is a myth, like the Easter Bunny and Chris and Santa Claus. It's a myth. Of course, they're gonna be mad. So she goes out with this second guy, and it's a white hippie guy with locks, and they go and do yoga, which is, I don't think it's a terrible date idea, but a terrible first date idea, yes. Um. Jabari overhears her talking about like these guys that she's dating, and he expresses his concern for her having casual sex, and once again tells her that this isn't you. Like, this is not you. You're not the type of woman to do stuff like this. And she shoos him off again and tells him like, this is who I am now. Like, yeah, that wasn't me back then, but this is who I am now, and I have to do this to get over my heartbreak. So she ends up doing an interview on another podcast, and they ask her if her relationship with Khalil was fake, and she tells them that it was real to her. She don't know how Khalil feels about it, but it was real to her and it wasn't fake. And they were asking her like, oh, your podcast used to be about love and love and liberation and all of this stuff, and it seems like you did a complete 180. Like, basically, how are you feeling? And she like going off again about how love is fake, basically. So then she goes on a date with the third guy, and the third guy is prison. She names all of them Prison Bae. The first one is African Bae. The second one is, I can't remember. The third one is Prison Bae. And they have sex. In the next scene, the sponsors are not happy with the new direction that her podcast is going. They don't like the fact that she went from promoting love and black love to making it a villain, basically. And she meets with two different sponsors. One of them is a guy who said that he only sponsored them because of Khalil. And basically, if Khalil is not on it, he really he don't want to continue to be her sponsor. And she like, this is my podcast. Give me a chance. I can assure you that everything is going to be okay. And he said, he tells her okay, but like, basically you walking on thin ice. If you don't get yourself together, I'm pulling out. But the next dude she goes out with is a older guy, and she doesn't like him because of his age, of course. Then the dude after that is Army Bay. And he has PTSD. Like, when they were out in public, he got triggered and started like ducking behind something or whatever. So he had PTSD, so she don't like him. And then there's Scammer Bay, who she had to get away from quick because he tried to get her information so he could steal her identity. Like these guys are seeming to be not worth your vagina, but you're having sex with a lot of them. I don't get it, but okay. It would have been better if they just like allowed her to get herself together and not make her life about a man. But of course they didn't, because this is too. So it goes to she talks about this new guy that she's talking to, and she says she likes him or whatever. And so they show her on a date with a new guy, and like she's meeting his friends, and one of his friends mentioned that he used to mess around with men, and that makes her uncomfortable. So she gets up and leaves, and he goes after her and say like, why didn't you tell me you were gay? And he like, I'm not gay, I'm bisexual. She said, you're gay. He like, no, I'm bisexual. And he said, I like men, but I also like women. And she said, so you're half gay? And I was like, uh, just why? Just like why? Just like what was the point of that? Half gay? Like, what does that even mean? Y'all couldn't come up with nothing better. And it's crazy to me, like, you running from a bisexual man that you actually like, but you were willing to sleep with a guy that just got out of prison. As if. Oh yeah, I forgot. Prison Bay also got approached by a guy he used to date. So she did find out that he was messing around with guys too, and said that he was gay, and she stopped talking to him for that reason too. So she's homophobic. Well, yeah, she homophobic. At the end of the day, it's your choice about who you want to date, but not dating somebody because of their sexuality. It makes you homophobic. But to each their own. You don't have to date a bisexual man. But don't be disrespectful and call them gay, because they're not. They're bisexual. There's a difference between gay men and bisexual men, okay? But y'all women seem to not know that. And y'all be perpetuating misogyny without even. Y'all be perpetuating um toxic masculinity without even realizing it. Like the man said on the show, wow, the oppressed becomes the oppressor. Okay? So it goes to a scene where Khalil is in the gym, and like the girls are just like swooning over him. And Khalil is fine. I'll give that to him. He's fine. He got a nice like body build. Like he's the muscular type, the big tall muscular type. He is fine. Okay. So I get the appeal, but at the same time, calm down. Calm your vagina down, okay? Calm that vagina down, okay? Take your vagina out of the conversation, okay? But that's not what happened. One of the girls went up and talked to him, and she was flirting with him and stuff. And asked him, was he single? And he said, yeah. And I'm like, you couldn't be more thirsty. He just got busted for cheating on a girl, and you want him? He fine, and I know y'all saw that penis print. And that's the only thing a lot of y'all think about, and that's why y'all end up with trash niggas. But they ended up losing the endorsements, and the sponsors want Khalil and her to cooperate with each other and continue a show. But they want it to be about why men cheat, like why he cheated and why men cheat or whatever. She is frustrated. She doesn't want to do it with him. Um, so like she kind of throws a temper tantrum and leaves the room. Um, So African Bay texts her while she's having a meltdown, and he asked her if she was busy. She said no. He asked if they could or I think she invited him to her house because that seemed like it was her house. He gets there, she's in lingerie, they have sex. Um, and then when they woke up the next morning, he wasn't in the bed beside her, so she thought that he ghosted her, but actually he went to use the bathroom. And when he came back, they're having conversations or whatever, and her phone goes off while they're in the middle of talking, and she goes to answer it and she's just giggling and giggling. She's texting somebody and just giggling. So he got up and started putting on, and she was like, where you going? Like, where you think you going? Whatever. And he like, I'm leaving. I'm getting out of your space. If you want to do this, he said, I told you on a dating app that I wanted a wife. If you wanted to do this, you could have gone and play around with somebody else, but I want to get married. And if you don't want that, get out the way. And I respected him for that. He dumped her and then he left. Also, Simone has become very distracted. Like, she's in the store shopping with Big Boss Vet's character, and she's not paying any attention to what she's saying. And Big Boss Vet gets mad and walks off. Khalil has this interview with this guy about his relationship with Simone and how it wasn't perfect and how people on social media perceived it that way, and oh, they set high expectations for us, and woe is me, and like never took accountability for cheating on her, never even said that he did, like he never even acknowledged it, just saying that um things need to be in order. No, what basically what he's saying is, he said something along the lines of, he wasn't the person that he was when he met her, and that he evolved, and basically kind of like she was holding him back, like she was an anchor. He said sometimes when you level up, everybody can't come with you. And I'm like, if it wasn't for her on that podcast with you, you wouldn't be talking like that. You would not be talking like that. But because you're trying to make it seem like you pulled the plug, you talking like this. Like, he fine, like I said, but I don't like him. I don't like his vibe. I don't like him. I just don't. Okay, so she ends up locking in with Thug Bay, and like they start spending a lot of time together. He takes her with him while he's doing his rounds, like picking up the money. You know how those type of niggas do. I could never ride along. That's a field trip I could never go on. I would be like, take me home. You doing too much. Your life might be in danger. I can't. I could never do that right along. Okay. But it's a lot of y'all that y'all get excited by that type of stuff. I could never. I'll stay at the house. Okay. Um, and then they end up having sex or whatever. Then it goes to Khalil recording the Black Love and Liberation podcast without Simone. And basically the agent, manager, or whatever, like telling her like he like they don't the crowd don't like him. Like, he sucks. Okay. Um Khalil and Jabari has a conversation or whatever about the Simone situation. And Khalil tells Jabari, dang, I done warmed that up and still ain't drinking. Khalil tells Jabari that Simone will be back, and Jabari gets defensive because he got feelings for her or whatever, and Khalil was basically telling him that women like her don't like niggas like him. They like niggas like Khalil, when they need to get their back blown out, but they friend zone niggas like Jabari. And I feel like there are some women who do that, but not all. Some women can recognize the difference between a good man and just a man who really just speaks to your vagina and not nothing else. Not your heart, not your mind, not your soul, just your vagina. And that's what Khalil is. He's not no good man. Um, and some women can see past his good looks, his body, and all of that stuff, and they don't want nothing to do with him. But yeah, there are some women who like men like that. They like men that look good. They feel like even though he's trash, like at least he look good. Cause I've heard people say like, if I'm gonna get done wrong, I'd rather get done wrong by a fine nigga. To me, a ugly nigga and a fine nigga is the same nigga if they do me wrong, and that's a nigga without me. Like both of them can kick dust. I don't do that. Okay. Um. So Portia is waiting for Simone to come pick her up for her interview, and she calls her and she doesn't answer. And she flakes on Simone flakes on Portia, which is messed up because she's messing around with Thug Bay, like having sex with him. She been getting real heavy with him. I don't know. To me, of all the dudes that you date, why him? Like why get heavy with him? He dangerous. But typical. So they have a okay, the agent ends up calling Simone over Khalil so they can work together again. Like they want Khalil and Simone to put aside their differences, come back together and work together because basically their fan base doesn't want one without the other. Um but of course Simone isn't with it. She don't want to work with Khalil for real, for real. Her and Portia gets into it. She goes to the bar to like apologize and they get into it and Portia tells her F her and they stop talking for a while. But then when they get together again with their friend Benny, I think that's his name, they finally like squash things. She apologizes to Portia. They forgive each other and move on. Um, okay, so like the dude that Simone and Khalil was interviewing when they first came on, I think his name was Kevin, asked Simone out on a date. And like he gives her to the address to the he gives her the address to the spot, and it turns out to be like this warehouse, look abandoned or whatever, but it ends up being a sex club. He takes her inside and like ushers her to this room with this other woman in, and she's confused when she get there, and she like, what's going on? And he like, we looking for a third, and you said you was on this journey, so we felt like you would have been a perfect match. And she like, nigga, I don't want to be no third. I don't share. She declines and she leaves. And like after she leaves out, Khalil comes out of the room with somebody and grabs another lady and goes to another room with her. And I'm like, this nigga is sick. Um, then it goes to her and Thug Bay. He texts her after like she leaves the place, the little sex club, and asks like what's she doing and is she gonna come through. She tells him she's on his way. She goes, they have sex, and then he like, what you finna do? And she kind of like gets an attitude with him for asking her that. But I'm like, what you expect from somebody like that? That's the poster boy for the what you about to do. You you shocked? You shocked? Cause I ain't shocked. But anyway, she gets annoyed with him and like, but she doesn't say nothing. She gets ready to leave. He walks her to the car and ends up getting shot at while with him. He like kisses her on the forehead when he sees like one of his ops and like, get in the car, hurry up and get in the car and go or whatever. It's like she drives off and the dude starts shooting at him. and she's like driving off, like in the middle of them shooting back and forth to each other. And I'm like, bruh, this is why you don't mess with them type of niggas. They get you killed. Okay? They get you killed. Forget the fun that they come with and maybe the good sex. I don't know. Because I think it don't even really be good sex. Y'all just like getting pounded. Y'all like getting pounded. Y'all like getting pounded. And that's what them type of niggas do. But then she goes and to I think Jabari's house or whatever while he's working on something, and she asks him why are all men trash, and he like, all men are not trash. Them niggas you picking is trash. Don't put all of us in it, cause I ain't trash. The ones you picking, them the trash niggas. Okay. Um, he shows her like a video of the bisexual man putting her on blast, like showing her leaving with another dude and then telling them that, she was just trying to hunch him until she found out that he was bisexual or whatever. And she sees the video and she like, I don't even care. Let people think what they want to think. And she lays on Jabari's lap and falls asleep. And he like makes her comfortable and everything while he's doing his work. Like you clearly tell that he really likes her, but he doesn't have the courage to tell her that he likes her because he feels like he's not the kind of guy that she likes, and I understand why he feels that way because of the dudes that she's chosen to give herself to, give her body to, give her time to, whatever. But so she goes out with White Bay. And she like dates him for a while or whatever, and she's talking to Portia on the phone, and she like, I don't know if he missed it right, but he missed it right now. And like while she's spending time with him, she gets a phone call from the agent, and the agent tells her that the sponsors want her back. So she's excited about that or whatever. Her and Khalil finally talk on the podcast about what happened between them. Like that little viral video that was going around about that girl and the guy that she was dating. And she asked him like how many women he been with. And he was saying like he didn't know, like basically he lost count, whatever. And you remember everybody started like reenacting what would have happened if different cultures would have done it or whatever. That's what they did. Basically took that idea and did that. And she ends up getting upset by something he says and like gets up and walks away or whatever. No, he tells her that she wasn't enough for him, and that's what made her upset. She gets up and she walks away. She ends up getting drunk at like the bar or whatever. And Jabari tells her like, let me get you home, and he's about to take her home, and then he runs into Khalil, and Khalil is like, I got it from here. And Jabari like, I'm not about to trust you with her. I'm not trusting you with her. Like, I don't trust you at all. She drunk. She ain't in control of what she doing. You're not about to take advantage of her. And they like get into it, go back and forth. And while they're going back and forth, she gets into a ride share and leaves. Their friends, Benny and Portia, ask Jabari when is he going to tell Simone how he feels. And he basically tries to act like he don't know what they talking about. Like, what y'all talking about? Like, we mean how I feel. And they're like, you was in love with this girl since you met her. We ain't gonna tell her. And, he tries to, like, play it off and stuff. But she wakes up one morning in White Baes' house. And, like, he has, like, breakfast lined up for her. Mimosas. Like, the food. Like, brunch. Well, probably brunch. And like she turns on the TV while she's like eating the food, and she sees him on the news getting arrested for fraud, his Bitcoin company or something like that. He getting detained while she's at his house, and like the person on the news is like, yeah, the cops detain him, and now they're gonna go to his houses, and they're gonna, and they're going to search it, whatever. She hears it, and she gets ready, and she leaves before the cops can get there, whatever. I'm like, bro, you putting yourself in a lot of dangerous situations that you don't need to be in. But she comes to the conclusion that the streets are not for her. She says she's going to focus on herself because she's been getting hit left and right, getting put in uncomfortable situations with these dudes. And now she finally realizes the streets is not for me. I don't know why it took her that long, because I would have realized it after having sex with the first nigga. It ain't for me. Okay, this ain't for me. Um, she apologizes to Jabari for leaving. But she said she didn't want the drama. Her and Khalil talk after they shoot an episode, and he's like trying to tell her, like, I want you back. What if I say I want to try again? I want to fix us. And she's like, I'm not doing it. Like, I don't want to fix us. I'm good. You had something good and you ruined it for other women, and I'm good on that. So she's in a mood because everything has not been working out for her. And like, they're at a party and she's sulking at the party and says she's taking a break from dating. Um, but then her friend Benny goes and meets Jabari in the hallway and like gives him a pep talk because Jabari shows up, and I guess he's finally about to tell her how he feels about her. So the friend tells him, stand right here, and then he goes and get um Simone and brings her to the hallway to Jabari and say, and you stand right here, and then he leaves so they could talk. And they start talking. Jabari is like trying to find the words to tell her, and she like, when you gonna ask me out, Jabari? Like, when are you gonna ask me out? I'm tired of waiting for you to ask me out. I know you've liked me since college, and I like you too. When are you asking me out? And he like shocked, like, what type of thing. And then, he finally tells her how he feels and stuff like that. And then the two friends are like peeping at them talking. Well, first, while her and Jabari is talking, Khalil walks in with flowers, and Benny pushes Khalil back out the door and is like, yeah, you're not gonna mess this up. You're not messing this up for her right now. But Portia and Benny are like peeping at them while they're talking and stuff, and like they clear their throat and they point to the ceiling, and then you see the holly, the mistletoe is what I'm trying to say, or whatever. And Simone is the one who kind of initiates the kiss, and she pulls him into her. They kiss or whatever. The two friends are happy. She says no more app, and Jabari is happy. They go and party with their friends. Yeah. They go and party with their friends, and now Jabari's happy, she's happy with their relationship. She says she's not getting on no more apps, and she's gonna focus on her relationship with him, and it ends with them kissing. And this movie was pretty good. Like, it was cool. It was pretty. It wasn't, like I said, I'm not doing the star system anymore. I don't really have any because usually when I do reviews on Tubi movies, I usually have like advice on what they should have done and what they could have done better and stuff like that. And I'm not gonna say that this movie was perfect, but I wasn't even thinking about that while watching it. I just was like enjoying it for what it was. um I do feel like I started losing track of the guys that she was dating. It said 12 days of Christmas. I don't count 12 people that I see. And of course, they not showing all of them, but I just wish that they would have had at least the 12 that she went out with, the 12 that she connected with. That's what I'm trying to say. because it kind of got lost after Thug Bay, and she kind of not like stopped dating other ones. And then White Bay came after Thug Bay, and I was confused about White Bay when she already dated a white guy who was a hippie. Like I was like, so why wasn't the other white guy White Bay? Like I don't know. And I honestly don't even know what he was. Was he hippie Bay? I don't know. They didn't keep track. They did some of them, but not all of them, and they didn't keep track. And that's the only thing that I have. Like it wasn't consistent. I started getting kind of lost. Like which number we on, which bay is it? Like I'm lost. Okay. And also bisexual Bae was in fact gay. Okay. Y'all need to find people who actually represent these characters. Find a bisexual man to play bisexual Bae, because it be these gay, you could tell, 100% gay men, and they're not able to play certain roles. Like you can just see it. You could just see that they're gay, because sometimes they be feminine, and of course there are masculine gay men, but I kind of feel like if you're gonna go the route of a bisexual man, it may be translated better if he is a little bit more masculine, but at the same time you could be bisexual and still be feminine. Nothing is wrong with that. But him and who was it, the other guy that was gay, I mean that was sleeping around with men, because they didn't say whether he was gay or not. I feel like he was in prison. I don't necessarily automatically think that guys who have sex with other men in prison is gay, because I kind of think of it along the lines of, you know, survival, and like sex is a part of that. And if like you having sex with niggas while you locked up, you doing 10 years and you having sex with niggas while you locked up, I can't judge that, because like I ain't gonna say I would do the same thing, but I get it. I understand. You're in a situation where you're not able to have sex with who you want to have sex with. You have these other people. I'm not gonna judge it. A lot of other people will, but I just think that I don't think that it's always about sexuality. I think sometimes it depends on the environment. Okay, so I am not going to say that the man is gay, but you can definitely tell that bisexual Bait was a gay man. And yeah. Yeah. Anyways, it was pretty good. I ain't gonna say for a Tubi movie. It was a pretty good movie. I enjoyed watching it, but like I said, I started getting confused with the Baes, especially if the name of it is 12 Baes of Christmas. You should make sure that we know how to differentiate between all 12 of these men, and that you kind of keep up that count. But it kind of got lost a little bit, and then when she got with the white dude, then they went back to doing it, and I'm like, y'all done skips a bunch of men. Who are these other men? But aside from that, I liked it, and I definitely think that it's worth watching. So y'all can check it out. But if y'all have seen it, let me know what y'all think about it. And if not, and y'all go watch it after watching this review, come back and let me know what y'all think about it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you think about my review. Do you agree with what I said? Do you think that it was a good movie? Did you enjoy watching it? And but thank you for watching this video, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye. Before you go, check out my website at srgraham.org and subscribe to my mailing list to get exclusive updates on works in progress, other news, and blog posts. Thank you.